Holy f***ing shit! Lowbrow custom. Beep, beep.
All right, everybody, it's time for another one of Todd's Tech Tip Quickies from America's favorite moto guru, Todd.
Today we're going to talk about NPT fittings. NPT is used on fuel valves. It's used on hose barb fittings. We have NPT plugs. Here's a good example. This is one of the gas tanks we sell. It has your choice of 3 different holes on there. Well, there's not 3 holes because you're going to run 3 fuel valves or you're going to run a crossover liner or any of that. It's basically giving you a choice. This one is going to be 3/8 NPT. This one is going to be 1/4 NPT. We have a whole bunch of NPT fuel valves on the website. This one is a 3/8 Harley style NPT valve that incidentally is actually used on a vintage iron head gas tank, would have this style fitting on the tank. And being that the threads are tapered, what's going to happen is when you thread it into the hole, it's not going to thread all the way to the end of the threads. And I get that comment very frequently where a customer will call and they say, hey, I bought this fuel valve in this gas tank, and when I threaded it in, there's still a whole bunch of threads showing. And we can show you a little example here. I'll just thread this one in here and see it's threading, and now it's starting to get tight. That means it's starting to form the seal. And then you're going to throw a wrench on it, and it's okay to keep tightening until you can orientate the valve where you need it to be able to get to it. If you continue to tighten this further, it may break the threads off. And as you can plainly see, we've got a whole bunch of threads still showing on that valve. Now, one of the other things you always want to do when using NPT fittings is get yourself a roll of this yellow thread tape. Don't use that white stuff you may have hanging around your garage. That's not for petroleum products. So you can find this at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's generally in a cardboard box right next door to the white tape. This is for gas and oil. Get yourself some of that, put a couple wraps on the threads. That'll make for a real nice seal where you don't have gas dripping out of your tank after you just put your tank on for the first time, filled it up, and now you have to drain the gas out and put some tape on there. We have various NPT fittings available on the website. This is an example here. This would be used for an oil tank. It has 1/4 inch NPT on one end and 3/8 hose barb on the other end. Same deal. It's going to go in the hole until it stops, and that's going to seal. If you don't want to use the other threaded holes on the gas tank, we also have NPT plugs in various configurations. These are 1/4 inch. We have this one's and once again, these are not going to end up flush with the tank because of the fact that it's going to go in until it seals. So if you want it to be a little more compact, you can choose the Allen socket head style. We also have it in a hex head style if that's what you prefer. And we also have those in 3/8 in case you want to use this for the valve location, and this, you're going to plug that hole. One of the other interesting things to note about NPT is if you were to measure across the hole and call me and go, hey, I need a valve and the hole measures this big, that might not correspond with NPT. And the reason being is if you look at this chart here, you'll see that a 3/8 NPT has an outside diameter of 5/8, and a 1/4 inch valve will have an outside diameter of 1/2 inch. So you can't physically measure a hole that uses an NPT fitting and then call me and say, I need this size. There's also 1/8 inch NPT, which will be much smaller than this. That's also used some places on custom motorcycles. So that's it for NPT. Hope you enjoyed this quickie tech tip, and stay tuned for more.
Todd's Tech Tip Quickies.